friends, so we're doing a little bit of a different setup today because I thought I'd do one of those like cool get ready with me videos, or at least they were cool like 3 years ago. But instead of getting ready together, we are going to mend some of my clothes. So I have a pair of jeans here that has worn out where they all wear out, like on the inside of my thigh, where my legs rub together when I walk. So I have a little bit of a tear here, but otherwise they're totally fine. I also have a dress that has a bit of a rip in the shoulder because I was walking down a hallway and walked too close to like a picture frame that was hanging in the hallway, and the corner of the picture frame caught my dress and also my skin on my shoulder. And then if I have time for it, I'm also gonna see if I can do anything about these shoelaces. I wore these boots home for Christmas and my parents' dog got to them. So they're all frayed up and I wanna see if I can kind of like sew them back together. I don't know, we'll see if it works. So this is like my box of, I've got like lint rollers in here and some needle and thread and like shoe polish. And we're gonna give it a go. But the reason that I'm doing this is because last year I started to kind of think about my relationship with shopping and I got really uncomfortable with it. I made a video about that, about how I'd been watching all these channels that do like no buys and that I feel like I kind of eventually have to do one. But in general, I just don't super like how I shop, which is mostly out of boredom. Like if I don't have anything to do, I easily find myself on like online shopping websites, or also out of just like fear and panic. A lot of times if I have to like, you know, go to an event or something, I'm like, oh no, what if I don't have an outfit that will make people like me and accept me, and maybe I need to run out and buy something new and spend a lot of time like panic shopping. And also, the world is on fire. And while individual actions are not gonna save us from climate change, I already don't eat meat, I don't drive a car, I do fly and like heat my home. But after that, probably the most individual impact I have is my clothing habits. I never really own that many clothes at once, but I do kind of feel like I'm more of like a cycler. Like I may only have 30 items of clothing, but every year I'm like, what if I reinvent myself and get 30 new items of clothing and get rid of all of these ones? And I don't really like that about me. So I kind of just want to generally be less wasteful of both the very limited resources that we have left on our planet, but also of my own time and of my own money. I would like to be able to do other things with my brain space than shop. So I kind of decided on like a system for how I want to approach shopping, especially for clothes this year. Highest priority is to just not buy something. I did a no buy in the month of December. I don't think I'm gonna be the kind of person who does like a no buy for a whole year, but I just wanted to see what that felt like. And it was good, I liked it. I liked just eliminating the possibility that like I would spend my Sunday thinking about acquiring things. And I also found that for like Christmas parties and things, that like I might usually think about like, well, what am I gonna wear? Maybe I need to get a cool new outfit so that people will enjoy my presence at this party and like be friends with me. I had this one shirt that I bought earlier this year that was like a green like satin tank top, and I had 4 holiday parties that I went to and I wore it to all of them. And some of the same people were at multiple parties and no one said anything. No one was like, Lizzie McGuire, you're an outfit repeater. It doesn't really matter most of the time if you have a new outfit or not, or if people have seen your clothes before. So a lot of the times where you think you need to shop, you can just not shop. But there are some situations where that won't work. So in that case, kind of the next priority is to take care of the clothes that I already have. So obviously I can't go walking around in the street with like big holes in my crotch. I could, I don't want to. So I should, before I go buy a new pair of jeans, just fix the pair of jeans that I have. And in general, just like take better care of my clothing. There is an Instagram account I follow called Unwrinkling that talks about the fashion industry and kind of the wastefulness of it. And last year, the person who runs the account had a mending party and they invited all of their friends over to their rooftop in the summertime and like got out a sewing machine and had everybody fix their stuff. And it made me realize that mending things doesn't have to be perfect. First of all, you can mend things. Nobody talks about that anymore, but you can just fix stuff when you have a tear in your clothes. You can put a button back on. It's not that hard to learn how to do very basic sewing. There's, I'm sure, YouTube tutorials about it, but you don't have to make it look like you are like a fashion designer. So at the mending party, people were using like different colors of thread to be like, yeah, there's some stitches here. Like this dress, you're gonna be able to see this. If I were the kind of person who like had a collection of like cool pins or patches, I might put one over this rip, or I might use a different color thread if I had one, and just be like, I fix my clothes. That makes them look cooler. That's kind of part of the story of this item of clothing now. And we could just make it cool to like have our clothes for a long time. Like I needed to buy a pair of boots last year that you saw earlier, but I made sure to buy a pair that could get resoled, that the sole wasn't just glued on, it was actually like sewn on, so that I can fix them and like repair them and have them for years and years and years. Cool, that'll do. So the third priority, which kind of matches up well with the reduce, reuse, recycle model, is that if I can't just not buy something or repair something that I already own, is to borrow it, or whether that's just asking a friend or using one of those clothing rental services. Next month, I'm going to some meetings at like the headquarters of my work, and because I usually work from home, I don't have a lot of like business appropriate clothes. And so I might panic shop and try to buy a bunch of outfits for a week worth of meetings in an office. But it doesn't really make sense to go buy a whole new week's worth of outfits just to wear them once a year. So if I can borrow them, that means that I get to wear it once and then other people get to wear it. So there are more wears in the lifespan of that item. It is kind of questionable about some of those rental services, whether they encourage people to want to have new clothes all the time and kind of help us get in the mindset of cycling through clothing. But kind of for the use case that I'm thinking of, it's a better option than buying something new. If I can't do any of those things, and it's really just something that I need to own, I'm gonna try to buy a little bit more ethically. So I wanna look at brands that publish information about how much water they use, and are their factories using renewable energy, and what kind of dyes and fabrics are they working with? Are they paying their employees a living wage? All of that stuff is really important to me. However, even brands that do that, like I really like the brand Reformation. They sell a lot of like cute dresses, but they still, I think, contribute to this kind of consumerist mindset that I'm trying to get out of. So I also want to make sure that I buy secondhand when I can. I started doing that last year, shopping from like Poshmark and stuff, so that I can really be really specific with what I want, rather than just like trying to go through thrift stores for hours and hours and hope they have the thing that I'm looking for. So that when I do buy something, that's kind of the last resort, but I'm still trying to buy in a way that's less wasteful. And I want to make that still kind of a really rare occasion. So I watched a segment on Patriot Act where they were talking about the fashion industry's kind of wastefulness, and they said that people used to buy an average of 12 items of clothing a year in like the 80s, and now I think it's more like 56. It could be higher than that, I'll have to check. But last year I went and looked and saw how many items of clothing that I bought last year, and it was something around like 30. And so I think a good goal is that whether I thrift them or buy them new, that I don't want to buy more than 12 items of clothing this year. We'll see how that goes, but I definitely think that I have enough already, and that if I take really good care of it, it can last me a long time, and I don't really need to shop or reinvent myself or make people like me based on what I'm wearing. Now, as I mentioned, this isn't gonna fix climate change. We really need to vote in leaders who are gonna enact serious policy around it, but this does make me feel like I can do something. But I think it's also good for me mental health wise to think about like what I need and don't need, and that clothes don't need to make me some kind of idealized version of myself, and in fact they can't. I don't need a constantly rotating closet to express myself. I can do it with a few things. And mostly what I need clothes to do are sit on my body and keep me warm. And I don't need them to make people love me. So if you have any advice on how you changed your relationship with shopping, or how you've tried to lessen your impact on the world via your clothing purchases, I'd love to hear them in comments. And if you like this video, you can share it with someone else who might like it, or someone else that you want to have like a mending party or a clothing swap with. That would be cool. You can also support me on Patreon. I've been posting these like process pages where I kind of map out my ideas for what I want to say in a video, and I've got the notes that I wrote for this video that I'm going to be posting on there soon. So if you want to see those, you can check out my Patreon, and I will see you next week. Bye!